Professor. Wanted to do an article breakdown of the impact on open enrollment and daily commute on college student retention. And obviously, this was pretty interesting read just because looking at schools with open enrollment, obviously you have an acceptance fee of anybody that has a GED or high school diploma. So just essentially looking at GPAs and grades could be a lot different than other schools that have to have certain, maybe it's like a SAT or an ACT that you have to pass a certain score to get into. So, yeah, it was a very interesting read. And also just with the daily commute on college student retention, just basically breaking down the study questions and seeing how the research was put into it in regards to what the students actually thought. So, the nature of the study came from the college in Georgia where they had a current retention rate of 65%. And obviously, like if you're only keeping 65% of the students that are getting into the open enrollment program, there must be something wrong. And to get to the bottom of this, they used the following interview questions, which in my opinion were pretty straightforward, but it was: to what extent do non-traditional students in an open enrollment college who commute daily entertain the thoughts of leaving, talk to others about leaving, or take steps, as well as open enrollment who commute daily entertain the thoughts of leaving. So just, I mean, off the top of my head, you're thinking of students that may be commuting a long way, that maybe a online program could be better, or something where they're not having to drive as far to get into the school could be one thing that is really keeping them from wanting to continue with this institution. Obviously, when it comes to the quantitative side of research, you're looking more into the numbers and the statistical data. So with the 65% retention that they're currently using, obviously there must be some kind of reason why they aren't able to return these 35% of the other students. And it really looked like through the study that there was assumptions and limitations that came from the nature of the study. So working from the quantitative side, obviously you're working through random surveys through these students that reach the qualifications that we are looking into, but you don't necessarily know that the how they're answering the questions is a reflection of their life. Maybe they're around peer pressure or working in situations where they don't want to be honest about what they're currently doing. So you need to take that into account, especially when dealing with such numerical data that may be misleading based on how the person is actually feeling. And also to take into account people's personal situations, that even though there is such a high percentage of people not returning to the schools, they may be in either different financial situations with commuting or personal situations that are taking them away from being able to continue their studies. So these are always things to consider, especially on the quantitative side, when you're strictly looking at the numbers and not necessarily taking into account people's personal situations and stuff like that. So it's just very essential. But ultimately, yeah, it's a very cool study, and just being able to look into these open acceptance schools and people that may have to deal with these commutes that can impact their studies, and maybe not something that personally that I have an issue with, but just keeping an open mind to other students that are going through these difficult situations.